On the evening of December 3rd, 2021, Elysaku completed the most absurdly insane Minecraft speedrun ever. If all the categories were ranked by difficulty, the one featured in this video would be so far above anything else that you would wonder why the hell anyone would want to attempt it in the first place. I'm talking about getting every single advancement in hardcore with half a heart of health. Just saying the title out loud sounds really difficult, but this probably isn't super hard for the reason that you think it is. Take just beating Minecraft on hardcore with half a heart as an example. If you know what you're doing, it's not overly difficult, rather the hard part comes with speedrunning it. Elysaku will be speedrunning AAHHH, but he will also play in a very cautious manner to try to ensure that he doesn't take excessive damage. The true challenge with the category comes with the realization that in a multi-hour run, he has an extremely thin margin of error. In that clip right there, he was just over 6 hours into a run when a magma cube fell 50 blocks right onto his head. My point in showing that is that it's not necessarily the anticipated dangers that pose the greatest risk in ending the run. Rather, it's the times where he's caught off guard at just the wrong moment. This is indeed the endurance test from hell. Quite frankly, a month ago, I would have never imagined that someone would actually complete a run, but alas, I've been proven wrong. Anyways, before I get into the run, let's meet the runner. Surely anyone crazy enough to attempt this would have to be very well versed in getting every advancement, and like you would expect, Elysaku is no exception. Having held 5 different world records in the category, it's no surprise that he wanted a bit of a challenge. Kinda funny considering the fact that usually all advancement speedruns are the challenge that runners go for, so I guess you can call this a challenge of a challenge. Anyways, without further ado, I present to you Elysaku's All Advancements Half-Heart Hardcore speedrun on a random seed in version 1.16. It all started with possibly the weirdest spawn ever, directly in the middle of an ocean with no islands nearby. Fortunately, a dolphin came to the rescue, and after looting shipwrecks and a buried treasure, he got his tools crafted and located in Acacia Village. After mining copious amounts of hay bales, he turned it into wheat and traded that for more emeralds. He then proceeded to trade all of his emeralds for a full stack of apples. But why, you might ask? Well, you see, throughout the run, golden apples will be absolutely vital, because they give 2 minutes of absorption hearts. It's essentially a temporary safeguard for whenever he has to do an advancement that requires him to be in close proximity to danger. Anyways, at 10.5 minutes, he entered the nether for the first of many times, and immediately upon entry, he was greeted with a ghast. He seized the opportunity to get returned to sender, then located a bastion. Once there, a baby hoglin nearly ended the run, but once that was sorted, he performed a safe route, traded with piglins, and turned some of those gold blocks into golden apples. At 20 minutes, he entered the fortress, and with fire resistance and absorption hearts, proceeded to kill blazes and wither skeletons that crossed his path. Since he had over 20 obsidian, he built a portal to get the angle of the stronghold, and after getting the last of his rods and a wither skeleton skull from this generous lad, he exited the nether at around 26 minutes. After following the path of the eye, he was eventually led to a desert temple, which for a multitude of reasons is one of, if not the most important overworld structure in the run. Golden apples, enchanted books, gunpowder, and TNT are all provided in desert temples. It's only fitting that the first one he went to contained a mending book. Mending basically ensures that his elytra will never break so long as he gets EXP, so I'd say his reaction was justified. Oh, and the stronghold entrance was literally located a chunk over from the temple, so that's cool. Once in it, his first stop was the library so he could front load books, but while he was looting a chest, a skeleton fell from a cave and shot him, taking away his absorption hearts. In my opinion, this one moment right here perfectly encapsulates why this category is so brutal. You could be going about your business and something that would normally be completely overlooked could end the run. Anyways, once he was done in the library, he found the portal room and entered the end at 32 minutes. After getting a bottle of dragon's breath and bowing down the towers, he chipped away at the dragon's health while it perched until he got free the end, thus marking the first part of the run complete. If you have a general idea of how Minecraft speedruns work, up until now everything has probably been pretty familiar to you, but after this point, most people wouldn't have a clue how to proceed. Well, it's a good thing Elysaku does, and after collecting the experience, holding the dragon egg, and petting his cat Churro, priorities first, he went through the end gateway. You know, it's almost as if the game knew he was playing half-heart hardcore, because what the hell is the spawn? There however was a silver lining, because an end city with a ship was within render distance. Not trusting himself to hit the MLG water bucket, he used gravel strats to get down, then proceeded to the ship. One slight issue, shulkers. No problem for Elysaku because he still had spare golden apples, so after eating one, he maneuvered his way there. Good news, one of the chests had a looting sword, but it came with a slight caveat. Knockback 2, Bane of Arthropods 5. Alas, spiders stood absolutely no chance against him. After looting a few more end cities, acquiring god armor and shulker shells in the process, and getting the great view from up here advancement, he boated a shulker and brought it on a bit of a journey. This isn't for an advancement he's gonna do now, rather it's for how did we get here, because shulkers are the only way to get levitation. Normally he would take it all the way back through an end gateway, but since he was a bit low in the golden apple department and stuff in boats doesn't despawn, he left it for later. At 57 minutes, he was back in the middle of an ocean. In order for me to explain this next part of the run, you need to be aware of some of the longer advancements, so here they are. Adventuring time, locate 42 selected biomes, the rarest of which being a mushroom island, which Elysaku already found multiple of. Beaconator, make a beacon, which on top of Gapples is why he's going to be looting a ton of monuments. Monsters hunted, kill every hostile mob, pretty self-explanatory, but one of these mob fights is drastically different with half a heart, so stay tuned for that. 2x2, breed a pair of every breedable animal. A complete catalog, tame every variant of cat. A balanced diet, eat everything that's edible, and throughout the run, you'll see him sprint jumping in a 2-block high area in order to lose hunger to eat. Due to the sheer amount of golden apples that he will be consuming, this advancement is surprisingly lengthy. Anyways, in preparation for the how did we get here advancement, he's gonna kill a lot of drowns in order to get nautilus shells and ideally get a trident ASAP. On top of that, finding an enchanted golden apple is mandatory, so as stated earlier, temples will be extremely useful. They'll also be super useful for finding netherite since they offer copious amounts of TNT. The reason I'm mentioning all of these right now is because they're completed throughout much of the run, not in any sort of order, unlike some other advancements that require him to do a very specific task such as great view from up here. Anyways, back to the run, and after looting some ocean structures, he got lapis and prepared to enchant. Basically what he needed for the rest of the run was Feather Falling 4 and Depth Strider 3 diamond boots, a diamond helmet with aqua affinity and respiration, an efficiency 4 unbreaking 3 diamond pick, an infinity bow, and a mending unbreaking 3 elytra. This process went pretty smoothly because he was quickly able to get all of that, except for the elytra, which required a single extra level of experience in order to make. No worries, he could take care of that pretty easily, but what he desperately needed was fireworks. Fortunately, there was a nearby temple which supplied him with plenty of gunpowder, but a zombie nearly ended the run. No! I mean, holy shit, I nearly had a heart attack and I'm watching this run after the fact. On the bright side, that got him close to 12 levels of EXP, and all it took was one more creeper to get there. The completion of enchanting marked the start of the next part of the run, basically going around getting bits and pieces for the longer advancements stated earlier, and getting a couple others along the way. Unfortunately, over the next 45 minutes or so, he was unable to get any tridents despite killing many drowns, but on the bright side, he had all of his nautilus shells for a conduit. 2 hours into the run, at the 5th or 6th mushroom island that he'd found so far, he decided to call it a day since he was very tired. Unlike other categories, stopping for the day and picking up where he left off the next day was completely acceptable. Anyways, good night, and good morning, where was he? Oh yeah, the Mushroom Island. After getting some fish, he went to a nearby village and tamed his first of many cats, getting the Best Friends Forever advancement. At a bit over 2 hours, he stumbled upon a jungle biome, which is vital for the 2x2 and adventuring time advancements. Jungles are one of the rarest biomes and they're notorious run killers, so finding one at this stage in the run was quite nice. Once he bred ocelots and pandas, he went back to flying around and chipping away at longer advancements, but he just couldn't get a drown to drop a trident. I mean, they have an 8.5% chance of dropping if they're holding one, and when he checked at 2.5 hours, he had killed 19 of them. Unfortunately, there was nothing he could do about it besides continue with the advancements, and soon after he got total bee location by using Silk Touch to mine a nest containing 3 bees. Once night fell, he killed 2 birds with 1 arrow, and a few desert temples later got an absolutely vital book, Channeling. This was mandatory for the very frightening advancement, which is done when there is thunder. The thing about thunder is that it's quite rare, only taking place on average once every 9 hours. In other words, if he either didn't get a trident or didn't have channeling when it took place, that would be pretty unfortunate. The opposite of unfortunate is fortunate, and fortunately, he was able to find a mesa biome nearby the temple, another one of the run killers. If you remember from earlier, falling mobs are also run killers, and that nearly happened again at the 3-hour mark. Luckily, he had absorption hearts and a shield, so he managed to walk away with only a minor heart attack. At this point in the run, he had done enough exploring and looting that he just needed a giant tree biome for adventuring time, a god apple for how did we get here and a balanced diet, and a trident for his sanity, because holy shit, he had killed so many drowns up to this point. Fortunately, the giant tree was located a short time later, and with it, the adventuring time advancement was over. And what do you know, the very next trident guy he killed actually dropped. When he put channeling on his trident, he seized the opportunity to name the trident Please Gib Thunderstra, which translates to Please Game, Don't Fuck Me Over. After restocking his apples, he did some breeding, got back to looting structures, and on his 19th desert temple, at 3.5 hours into the run, he finally got a god apple. With that, he took to the nether and started looting bastions to get more gold blocks, because not only was he gonna need more golden apples, but a beacon as well. On his path, he spotted a skeleton and took the opportunity to get the sniper duel advancement, killing it with a bow from over 50 blocks away. Staying on the theme of bows and arrows, he got bullseye, and once back in the nether, a kind wither skeleton gave him its head, meaning that he just needed one more to spawn the wither. Fortunately, the game owed him reparations for making him kill so many drowns.
Oh my god. My wither skelly luck. Oh my god. I just went 2 for 4 off those 2 wither skeletons. What? I went 4 for 20.
Insert funny joke. On a serious note, about 4 months prior to this run, this utter bullshit happened to him, so not having to kill any more of them was probably a weight off his shoulders. Soon he got This Boat Has Legs by riding a strider with a warped fungus on a stick, and after breeding them, it was time for Elysaku to attempt what he calls the hardest advancement with half a heart, Uneasy Alliance. Basically, he had to get a ghast into the overworld and kill it, but much easier said than done.
No. Oh god. Oh my god. Bro, I saw that fireball coming from my forehead. Good lord, dude. I've never been so scared in my entire life.
Elysaku has completed the challenge. Game menu.
What you just watched was a clip from a different run where he got a second golden apple, and without it he would have died. Not only is the ghast AI absolute horseshit, but it's constantly shooting fireballs, and if one of them connects, it's GG. Elysaku didn't have an extra god apple, but he had a different strategy for getting the advancement. You see, by hooking a ghast with a fishing rod, turning the render distance down to 2, and reeling it in, he's essentially pulling an unloaded ghast, so when he turns the render distance up again, it will come to him. Since the ghast indicates where it will go while unloaded, he built a large nether portal for it to go through, and on the other side, placed a minecart to prevent it from suffocating. Anyways, soon came the moment of truth. When he turned his render distance up, the ghast went to the portal, then through the portal. One bow shot later, it was dead, and Uneasy Alliance was acquired. If you take a look at the bottom left corner of the screen, you can almost see his brain pulsating, and if you look at the timer, insert funny joke. A short time later, he got a hoglin into the overworld, turning it into a zoglin, which he needed to kill for monsters hunted. With all that out of the way, he was ready to mine for netherite, except he wasn't going to use his pickaxe. Rather, he was going to use the multiple stacks of TNT that he had been collecting from desert temples to his advantage. Many explosions later, he found all the netherite he needed to cover himself in debris, and after using a compass on a lodestone, he was one step closer to finishing the run. Even though he was nearly 5 hours in, he still needed to eat a lot of foods for a balanced diet, so he started slowly chipping away at that. Soon he became a zombie doctor, then crafted his netherite armor, and 20 minutes later, bred some llamas, finally finishing off the 2x2 advancement. A short time later, he found a witch hut, killed its owner, and tamed the black cat, finishing a complete catalog. By planting a seed and using bone meal, he got a seedy place, and finally, he was ready to kill the wither. Prepare for the most anticlimactic boss fight of all time, because by spawning it under the bedrock fountain, Elysaku could hit it without it being able to damage him back. Once that was taken care of, he killed 5 animals with 1 bow shot, getting our ballistic, and finally, 6 hours into the run, he began the setup for how did we get here. Keyword began, because after placing the blocks for the beacon at a spawn point in the ocean, he went out to do more advancements. You'll soon find out why it was important to do it at spawn. Anyways, next came sweet dreams. Yes, 6 hours and 10 minutes into the run, he slept for the first time. Wanna know what also happened for the first time at around this point? thunder. A naive person might not even realize it due to rain not existing in desert biomes, but Elysaku knew that the clouds turn near invisible in the desert when a thunderstorm happens, so right when he noticed them vanish, he threw a channeling trident at a villager, getting a throwaway joke and very frightening. Although getting thunder was undoubtedly a massive weight off his shoulders, Elysaku was far from over and still had some very difficult advancements ahead of him, like Hero of the Village, which he began a raid farm setup for. Basically, by giving a villager a workstation, the game registers it as a village, so by putting it far enough out into the ocean, the raid mobs have no choice but to spawn in this allotted area. Back to that later, because first he had to bring the shulker back into the overworld. Yes, the same one that he left in the end about 6 hours prior to this. In doing that, he utilized probably my favorite strategy in this entire run, Shulker Yeet, and soon enough, he successfully got it into the overworld. And this is why it was important that he did it at spawn, and probably a major reason why he didn't insta-reset a middle of nowhere ocean seed. With the Shulker right beside him, it was almost time for Elysaku to go for the how did we get here advancement. First, the conduit power setup, then the beacon, and in setting that up, he got Beaconator and bring home the beacon. With some haste and regen, he finally mustered up the courage to get the hardest advancement in the game, fishy business. Anyways, now he had to do a ton of brewing, and with the power of editing, bam, he's done brewing. Next, he killed a pillager to get Who's the Pillager Now, and a raid captain not only getting voluntary exile, but the bad omen effect. Right after, he went back to his raid farm, and needless to say, doing this setup mitigated a lot of the risk. Soon he got his first totem, which not only gave him an extra life, but he needed it for an advancement. At just over 7 hours into the run, he became the hero of the village, giving him the advancement and the effect. He was getting painstakingly close to going for HDWGH, and needless to say, a lot of pressure was on his shoulders because a few days prior he had gotten to this stage in the run but failed this advancement. Now was no time to look to the past though, because after getting more bad omen from a pillager outpost and mining fatigue from a local monument, he returned to the setup, hooked a dolphin to a post for Dolphin's Grace, and now, after so much preparation, it was time.
No, what did I fail, dude?
His spectral arrow didn't hit, and at that point, it was too late. He had failed How Did We Get Here for the second time, but he wasn't ready to give up yet. He still had enough items to brew more potions, and Hero of the Village and Bad Omen weren't going away too quickly. At undoubtedly the lowest point in the run, he persevered, but this time failure wasn't an option. After obtaining more potions, he went back to the monument for mining fatigue, and for the second time this run, attempted How Did We Get Here.
Shulker? Let's fucking go, dude! Finally! Oh my god!
Finally, he had done it. Alas, a massive weight was lifted off his shoulders. Now, you may ask, what is there to do now? Well, first he had to die, and once that was sorted, he started going for the monsters hunted advancement. Since guardians have thorns, he bowed one from a distance in order to kill it, but remember when I said that one of these mobs was drastically different from the others? Well, before we get to that, he used a campfire and got honey to get be our guest, hired some help, and found himself in a sticky situation, but only after that, it was time for him to kill an endermite. One slight issue, they have a 5% chance of spawning with each pearl thrown, and you could say that he didn't exactly have a lot of health at his disposal. The solution was for him to turn his render distance down and throw a bunch of pearls into unloaded chunks. Upon re-rendering the chunks, all the pearls would fall, but only one of them would deal damage, and since he had Feather Falling 4, it would only be 2 hearts instead of 2.5. Eventually, when he had all his pearls thrown, the moment of truth arrived.
Options. Elysaku. Sodium options. Options.
If you take a look at the advancement tracker, he had 2 of them left. Revive the Ender Dragon and craft a stone pickaxe.
Crafting. Crafting.
Oh my god.
Elysaku has made
Let's
game menu.
fucking go, dude! Finally!
Chat
On half
edit
a
box.
heart, dude. That was the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life, dude. Oh my god, dude. It's over, dude.
8 hours, 12 minutes, and 30 seconds after loading into the dead center of an ocean, he completed the All Advancements Half Heart Hardcore speedrun. After failing hours into the run many times, he could finally say he did it. Without a shadow of a doubt, this is the most difficult Minecraft speedrun that has ever been completed. Since this video is around 20 minutes and the run was 8 hours, I couldn't include nearly everything, but I hope that I've done it justice. Please go check out Elysaku on Twitch. He's a great runner and streamer and does All Advancements runs very often. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video and have a great day.